Alright, today on Tractor to Trail I want to show you this little beauty that I call the frankenverter. It's a old Xantrex inverter I've had for over 10 years, and what I did was I've taken the old inverter apart and used all the pieces of it to put together onto this battery box. So it's portable. I can put it in the back of the truck for truck camping. I've got the 110 outlets here. Shows you how much battery is left, and you can switch the power from the inverter on and off. I have an AGM battery in here, so it's a marine battery. It's a group 24. It's a smaller battery, but it's just a test run, so I'm learning how to see how much time it'll last on the charge and all that good stuff. Someday I'll probably go up to a 31 size battery, but we'll see how this goes. But on this inverter, I've got the battery terminal post where I can hook up my solar plug, and I'm using the Renogy 100-watt solar suitcase. It's really nice. So far it's been working out good. I'm going to do some tests with this to see how long it'll take to charge this battery, the AGM battery, and how long it'll last running the fridge. So I'm going to do a quick test. I've got the cigarette lighter adapter plug here that goes straight to the battery. It's out about 12.7, but let me just open this up real quick to show you inside what it looks like. So I've got the battery wired up to the inverter. I've got a little storage on the side here and where the battery terminal posts are connected. I've got it all wired up here. It's got the battery terminal covers on because there's some wiring on top I didn't want touching or grounding out, so I keep all that separated. And that's about it for the frankenverter. I'm excited to see how this works. So this week on the test, what I'm going to do first is plug it into the AC outlets and see how long it lasts, and then I'm going to recharge the battery and do a test how long it takes for the 100-watt solar panels to charge it. And then I'm going to do the test again and see how long the battery lasts, plugged straight to the AGM battery with the cigarette lighter adapter running the fridge. So this is the old Xantrex inverter cart, and what I did was cut it a little bit to try to get the new battery to fit. It was replacing 3 smaller AGM batteries. It didn't work. So this old Xantrex cart will remain my welding cart, which will help wheel it around the shop. This is the grinder test. I wanted to make sure the inverter worked good before I went ahead with tearing everything apart and putting it onto the new battery box, and it powered the grinder perfectly, so I went ahead and started cutting everything up. It does use a smaller footprint than the Xantrex cart, which is nice, and it's easy to move around. You can see I've got the terminal post on the outside that I'm going to hook my solar charger to, or if I need to run something else off of that, straight off of it, it works pretty good. Got a small storage area on the side by the terminal post, and a 12-volt cigarette plug adapter location also. You can see I used some aluminum tapping screws for the lid to hold the inverter on. And now it's all put together. I've taken the pieces off the Xantrex cart, like the 110 outlets and the 12-volt plug, and put it all onto the battery box and gave it a quick test with the 12-volt plug, and it works great. You can see you can check the power to see how much power is left on the battery, and now I'm charging that battery up that was half charged with the solar power. It's 100-watt Renogy solar panels plugged straight to the terminals on the post. Alright, so I just plugged in the fridge. I have it running off the inverter right now. I've got in the fridge, I've got some water, I've got some mayo, some ketchup, and a bag of condiments. I got 7 cans in there of water, so we're going to get a good idea of how long this will last. It's 68 degrees in there right now. It's not cold yet, but I have it set to my camp temp, which is 37 degrees. Yeah, 37. And I have it on eco low, so it'll drain the battery pretty good. Alright, this is so cool. The frankenverter is working. I'm so proud of my little contraption here that I put together. It is 35 degrees. If you look at the temperature here, again, we're on eco mode. 35 degrees, it's working great, and the fridge just shut off. It took it about 20 to 25 minutes for it to cool. It went from 69 degrees down to 35 degrees. I have it set on 37, so it cooled just a little bit below that to keep it at the 37 degree temp. Alright, so the battery's at 12.9 volts. It just got done charging. It took about 20 hours to charge, and the reason I say about 20 hours is because I had to plug it in at 7 o'clock when I left in the morning, and it charged all day. Then I would unplug it at 7 o'clock last night, and then I plugged it in again at 7 o'clock before I left. So I also want to mention, normally when I go camp, I plug this fridge in ahead of time and cool it down and run it off a 110 house outlet just to get it ready, and then I would run it off the 12 volt power supply after that. So this is kind of an unfair advantage, making the fridge cool everything down inside, but it's going to be a good test of the battery, see how it does, and I'll let you know. Alright, so the moment we've all been waiting for, how long did the fridge last on DC power? First, before I get into that, let me show you this garage temperature averages 90 degrees. When both vehicles come in, it gets hotter. It gets up around 95, 97 degrees at the end of the day. When the sun's shining on this front of the garage, it gets really hot in here. So the average temperature is 90 degrees. That's a lot for this little fridge that isn't the best insulated to keep temperature at 37 degrees. It did a great job with that. So let me give you a quick recap. On AC power, it ran for 35 hours. Now that's including dropping the temperature from 69 degrees down to 37 degrees. I was happy with 35 hours. I thought that was pretty good, just off battery power and the inverter. Now the inverter had to convert the power. You had to convert it with the 1300 watt inverter from here over to the DC power outlets for the 110 outlets. So you took the 12 volt, converted it through the inverter, and then out through the 110. I got 35 hours of that. I was hoping it would last longer on the straight DC power, where I plug this in right into the cigarette adapter, and that's run straight to the battery. So no inverter was needed, didn't have to convert any power. It should have lasted longer. Did it? That's the question. I'm gonna get to that in just a minute. But another variable that was here, when I camped, I had this fridge totally full of food. If you look at it now, there's only a few things in the fridge. So it's not well insulated. It's not full of food, keeping it at a constant cold temperature inside. So again, the heat in the garage, the amount of food, probably not the best insulation on the outside. This thing had to work really hard to keep it at 37 degrees. Now on eco mode, it fluctuates. I set it at 37, it goes down to around 34 degrees. I see it fluctuate up to 41 degrees, but it keeps an average of 37, and that's good because it's keeping it out of the danger zone, so your food isn't going to go bad inside the fridge. So I find 37 is a good temperature to keep it set on. Obviously, just refrigerated, I'm not freezing anything here. I could set it down to freezing, but just a good refrigerated temperature is 37. All right. So how long did it last on DC power? I was hoping it would last 48 hours. It did not. I got 45 hours of use on DC power. Am I happy with that? Yes. Would I have liked to got 48 or more? Yes. But with all that being said, I think it's great because if I'm camping, I can have the solar panel plugged in, getting 100 watt of power coming into the inverter and the battery. This thing will last, I'm gonna have to try it on a week trip and see. It's gonna last a week for sure, no problem. Just by getting repowered repowering that battery from the sun while I'm on the trip. Even if I had 2 days of cloudy weather, I know I'm safe because I can get at least 2 days out of this running off 12 volt. I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a like, a thumbs up, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel. And here's K&D Productions to tell you.
We'll see y'all next time. We'll be on the tractor and on the trail.